Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Japanese tech tree tier 9 medium tank, the Type 61. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Type 61, it's a tier 9 medium tank that is alright. It's nothing really too special about this vehicle. It's not the best vehicle in the universe, but it's also just not the worst. It's a little bit sluggish with its top speed. It's got 47 km/h top speed, so it's not the most mobile medium tank in the universe. It's definitely below average in terms of its mobility. The gun handling at times can be a little bit wonky, but it's still pretty accurate when you get it fully aimed. The DPM is very, very nice, though, on this vehicle, and you're as big as a house, have no camo, and have absolutely zero armour, which means you get absolutely obliterated in this tank by most vehicles because your armour just absolutely sucks, and because you're so tall with such a big cupola and all that sort of stuff, it's very, very easy to hit you and get shots into you for the same amount of time it takes you to get shots into them, which, yeah, can be super duper frustrating. The other thing that kind of sucks for the Type 61 is the ammunition count. It's got a very low ammo count with only 32 rounds, which means there's a lot of games that this tank can actually run out of ammunition, and especially with having pretty damn good DPM on this vehicle, yeah, the ammunition can drop low quite a lot, which can be a bit of a pain for it, but there we go. So, the Type 61. It's got a 47.6 km/h top speed, a 20 km/h reverse speed, the 17.26 horsepower per ton ratio, which means that you will hit the 47.6 km/h top speed, but you're a little bit sluggish at times to get there, and I think that's because the terrain resistances don't help it too much. But then you've got a 20 km/h reverse speed, which is absolutely fantastic, helps you pull back around a corner very, very quickly. And can just be pretty nice for the Type 61 in general. You do have a 48 degree a second hull rotation speed, which means this tank does turn pretty quickly on its tracks. 2.03 on soft, 1.01 on medium, and 0.90 on firm. Aren't the worst terrain resistances in the universe. It just depends on the terrain that you're on, that occasionally you can feel slightly more sluggish in terms of your mobility. You've got one thing that is great for this vehicle, 525 meters of view range, really helps to spot for yourself in this Type 61, and even though your camo is atrocious at 372 meters of still concealment, and 388 on the move concealment, which is very heavy tank camo, by the way, on a paper-thin medium tank, it means that you don't get outspotted that much, just because you have that good a view range. And even though you're going to get spotted most of the time by most vehicles, you will also spot them, right? Which can be nice for the Type 61 in general. 45.61 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed is slower than the tracks, so do bear that in mind that the turret traverse is slower than the tracks, which can be a little bit frustrating at times, especially when you're trying to keep locked onto something on the left and you turn to the right. Accuracy during rotation of 1.03 is really not very good. With an accuracy of 1.37 during movement, though, that is pretty nice, and that means as a pair, the aim circle does bloom out, especially during rotation of this vehicle, but the accuracy during movement is that nice as well, though it doesn't bloom out too horrifically. And if it does, you've got a 2.12 second aim time, which is not horrendous, and means it doesn't take too long to get this gun fully aimed in. And when you have a 0.29 accuracy at 100 meters as well, this gun is pretty accurate when you do get it fully aimed in. You've just got to sit there and wait for it to get aimed in at times. But because the accuracy during rotation and movement is pretty poor as a pair, with the gun stabilizer and all 3 gun perks, that means you can't really drop the gun stabilizer to run something like a camo net to get that awful concealment down, because otherwise the aim circle does bloom out hugely, and that's where you'll really feel the 2.12 second aim time. Because as a pair at the minute, the 1.03 and 1.37 together mean that the aim circle does bloom out, but not horrifically. Even though we've helped it out as much as possible to get it there, it just means that you don't have to suffer that aim time as much. So, yeah, you don't want to drop the gun stabilizer on this vehicle, because otherwise your gun handling really feels not very good. It really does. 10 degrees of gun depression is incredibly flexible for this tank on a ridgeline. It's kind of where this vehicle wants to be, because you are as big as a house. You are made of absolutely no armour. You're made of spit and Kleenex, realistically. You want to be on a ridgeline where you're only exposing your turret, which is big anyway. You've got a huge cupola, which is easy to hit. But the thing is, if they're only having your turret to shoot at, it's a lot easier to keep yourself hidden and not take easy shots and lose too much hit points too quickly. 7.29 second reload is a 3.2k DPM, which is very, very nice for this 105mm gun, and is on some of the higher end of DPMs for a tier 9 medium tank, and is very nice for the Type 61. It means you can farm up pretty quickly if you do get yourself into a nice farming situation. You got 258 pen on the standard APDS rounds, 330 pen on the premium heat rounds, and 53mm of penetration on the HE, with 1478 meters a second shell velocity on the APDS and 1173 meters a second shell velocity on the heat and the HE. So the shell velocity on the standard APDS is fantastic, and the heat rounds and the HE, you will have to give a little bit more lead at distance to be able to hit your targets. And the standard pen and the premium pen is enough to go through most vehicles you're going to face. And as you saw with that first game, we finished with the 1821 base XP, 4.5k damage, that little bit of assistance. Pretty nice game there for the Type 61 out on Ghost Town. Which is not really the best map for it either, because, you know, it's a brawly map, and this tank is not a brawly tank in the slightest. So what do I run in terms of accruing equipment to get those stats that I've just run through for the Type 61? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Trap Mechanics, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Camouflage Expertise, with the Advanced Loader, the Gun Stabilizer, and Optics. Optics to be able to get that fantastic 525 meters of view range, so that I can spot for myself fairly effectively. The gun stabilizer to get that accuracy during rotation and movement down as low as humanly possible, so that the aim circle blooms out a little bit and I don't have to feel the aim time too much. The advanced loader to get the best out of the DPM. All three gun perks in conjunction with that gun stabilizer to get that gun handling as good as possible, so that I can snap shots left, right and centre, and also make sure that I'm going to be hitting these shots. And especially since you have such low ammo count, you really have to make the shots count, which we're really not doing at the start of this replay, are we? Yeah, no, we're just snapping shots left, right and centre and missing all of the shots, which is not the best thing to do for the Type 61, but there we go. We were on the camouflage expertise as well, to be able to get the camo down a little bit, because the camo is awful on this vehicle, and I do want to be able to help it just a little bit, to be able to actually stay unspotted in certain situations like this, for example, but it only helps that tiny, tiny bit, so you could quite easily drop the camouflage expertise, run something like Rapid Aim to make the turret traverse better, since the turret traverse is a little bit slow, or run any other perk that you really want to be able to make the tank a bit more comfortable for you to play with. So this video is not just some nice replays for the Type 61, we also managed to get the third mark of excellence for this vehicle, so these replays are the ones leading up to and achieving that third mark of excellence. And this second replay, we are here on this map, which is Fisherman's Bay, and we're up to nearly 1200 damage so far, and we're just being as careful as possible when that detected is going off, not to just sit there and take a hit, because like I say, any shot that tends to fly into the Type 61 pens it, because it's as big as a house, it has absolutely no armour, and it just means that you've got a very, very easy damage when you're shooting at this tank. It's kind of like the CDC in that way. But occasionally, you can get bouncers with this tank, but don't ever, ever try and rely on it. And the reason I say that is because it's the type of bouncers that happen when you're shooting at something like a CDC, where you hit a random angle that just decides, yeah, this is the one that I'm going to bounce now, and so you bounce off of it. And that's because if you hit the gun, naturally you can bounce, or if you hit the gun mantler, occasionally, depending on the angle you're at, you could also bounce off of that as well. But yeah, it's like a 1 in 10 chance that you get a bounce with this vehicle, but there we go. So on this mid-ridge, we've managed to get 1600 damage so far. Looking for shots into this T95. We managed to get the APDS round straight through his cupola there, but it was only an orange pen marker, and again, I took that shot just taking a... Generally, I took a pot shot and went, we'll see if it pens. And it did. I didn't expect it to pen, but there we go. We've loaded the heat rounds again to make the most of our ammo efficiency, and because, well, 330 heat pen is going to go through the cupola of a T95 most of the time if we hit the exact spot we need to. And so that's the way to start getting our damage up. We're up to 2.4k damage. The standard B gets destroyed by the UDES 03 over on the other side, and we really need that T95 gone so that I can attack these dudes. But I decided, okay, you know what? No, screw it. We're just going to ignore the T95, and in fact, he's just been killed. I need to still rack up some more damage if I want to go for this third mark of excellence, so it's time to go aggressive, load the APDS rounds, and get in on the enemy tanks that are in the town here. They still have a decent amount of tanks left alive, but a lot of them are over the other side, so if we can win this town and progress the fight, we can get over and start attacking the other side. So we go for the shot into the lower plate, the moisture there. It ends up doing track damage only. And, well, it blows his tracks off, which means we get a bit of the tracking assist. We go for the shot into the lower plate again, but end up tracking the moisture only. which is a sad time. And he manages to repair his tracks before he takes a hit, which means we don't get any of the assistance damage for it. This time we finally get the shot into the lower plate, putting us up to 2.7k damage. The Eradicator's poking out. If I can get the shot into his track and track him in place, which we managed to do. Wonderful scenes because we get the damage, but he's also taking hits, which is feeding us that tracking assist, which is perfect for us when we're going for this third mark of excellence, because that every little counts. We're up to 3.5k damage, that 1,000 assistance, and when I was doing it to get some movement up towards that 95% region, about 3.5 to 4k damage was what I was needing. About 4k damage was where we're starting to go up. So we're at that point now where I'm pretty confident that I'm starting to gain. We just need to get that little bit extra and keep the damage flowing again. We need to keep ahead of our team, get to the front. Number one, spot them, although spotting them isn't going to help us too much with getting the mark because we've got 1,000 tracking, so we really need to get a tracking assist, because if you didn't know with marks, naturally, it only counts the highest of your tracking or spotting assist. So if I have 2,001 assistance damage, and 1,001 of that is tracking, and 1,000 of that is spotting, the 1,001 tracking assist is the only thing that will count towards my mark of excellence. You may as well have not even bothered to get the spotting assist, right? That's how it works into the calculation. So, like I say, for me, spotting them is probably not the way to go now. We just need to either get shots into them to track them in place for my team to shoot them and give me more assistance that way, or just keep farming the damage in. And well, we've moved into the position now where we can see the Barask. We're waiting for that shot where we can guarantee it flying in. And there we go, the final APDS round of the tank, straight through the Barask, finishing him off, putting us up to 4.6k damage. So we're up to 5.5k combined now, which is a nice amount for us in this Type 61. Shot towards the rear of the Conchicaro 1 Mark II. Doesn't go anywhere near him or doesn't pen him, and that's probably because actually that was a heat round, and the heat round probably hit a destructible wall that we just can't see, and so it didn't do anything. It's like that shot looked like it should have gone straight for that CC1 Mark II, but again, we don't know where the destructible cover is, so it's every likelihood that it could have hit that as well, because, you know, just heat problems. So I'm going to ignore the Conchicaro, and we're going to go after the light tank and the artillery, because, again, they're easier damage. They're behind us. We're not going to have to sit there just wasting opportunities to get shots in. So we go around, get the shot into the teeth breaker to finish him off. We know the artillery is somewhere around here, and there we go. We find him. I think, you know what? If you want to shoot me, shoot me. I'm just going to put some extra shots in. Hopefully he doesn't get the shot in, and yeah, there we go. The Paladin ends up finishing off the British T9 artillery there. We finished the game with, again, a pretty damn nice total for the Type 61. We finished with the victory, the 3 kills, 5.3k damage, 964 assistance damage. That's what, 6.3k combined. First class, the high caliber, the Confederate, 1683 base XP. A pretty damn nice game there for the Type 61 on Fisherman's Bay. And it put us up to that 94.88. So we're very, very close. And at this point, I know that the next game that I need in the Type 61 is probably about 4.5 to 5k. And once I get into that 4.5k to 5k region, I'm probably going to have achieved the third mark of excellence. So we're on to this third replay, which we're now on Kaunas. And on Kaunas, what I want to do is go to either an aggressive position like D6, or go to the position at E7. D6 will help me spot people as they cross the AB line, and with having 525 meters of view range, I'll easily see them as they go in, and that should feed me some assistance damage. The only problem is it's quite an aggressive position to go. I am as big as a house, and it means that it's quite easy for people to pen me and me to get spotted and shot at. So I decide, okay, you know what, I'm too close. I don't want to be that aggressive and ruin my chance of getting my third mark. So we put a shot into the EBR Hotchkiss, and we are just going to be careful now. We actually managed to ricochet a shot from the back, and that's what I'm talking about. We do have angles on this tank, like the upper plate, and that's where we ricocheted the shot from, because it hit us an extreme angle on the upper plate, but never rely on it. So we know we took a shot for 250 from something back there. So we're just taking a few blind fires, which again is always risky to do in the Type 61 because you just don't have any ammo. It's one thing that needs to change for this vehicle and has done for a very long time. It's giving it more ammunition so that you don't run out that often. So we see the King Dragon behind us, and Mr. King Dragon is going to be an easy farm. So we pull up, put a shot into his drive wheel, which tracks and pens him. Hopefully someone will shoot him, feed us some tracking assist. But in fact, no one's shooting him, so we're just going to finish the King Dragon off. And that's where the DPM on the Type 61 is pretty nice, as it's quite quick to rack up that damage to be able to finish off a tank like that. So we find the moisture, put a shot into his side, which only does track damage, which is a sad time. But since he was pinned in place, side on, we managed to poke out, get another shot in. We were playing with fire there, though, because that moisture could have just slapped us for 490, and that would have pretty much hurt. We don't really want that if we can help it, because the artillery's also aiming in on us, and the artillery's, trust me, Artie likes to pen the Type 61 because it's got no armor, so do be careful of the artilleries when they start aiming at you and firing at you. And if one pens you, don't truly be surprised because, yeah, you made a spit in Kleenex. So, we were going after the T-34-100, didn't quite find the shot in. There's also a Ho-Ri 1, and I kind of want to push in to find a shot into the Ho-Ri or the T-34-100. But as I decided to start to push, we actually find the T-28 prototype as well. And he is just giving us some free, juicy shots, which we're taking every day of the week. But he gets himself back safe behind the ridgeline. We're up to 2.6k damage. And once again, in my brain, I'm thinking, I just need 2,000 more. And 2,000 more is 5 more shots. 5 more full shots. That's just what we need. Or some assistance damage to get us up to that number as well. Because never discount assistance damage. So I put a shot into the destructible house there. Bad timing. I destroyed the destructible house, or put a shot into it anyway, so that it was trying to free up an opportunity to shoot the Ho-Ri. But as we fired, the T-28 prop decided to drive out sideways on and said, "Hi, friends! You can shoot me, you know?" And yeah, naturally that meant that was a bit awkward. But now we've destroyed the other bit of destructible cover since we've shut down the T-28 prop. We've got shots into the side of the Ho-Ri, which we put a shot into him, damaging his ammo rack. The WZ-111-14 puts a shot into him, and he realises that he can now be shot in the rear and pulls forward. We get a nice snapshot there into the T-34-100, and that's why I run all 3 gun perks and the gun stabilizer, if I'm honest, because those kinds of snapshots are really handy for the tank, and you can't do it that reliably or effectively if you do not run the gun stabilizer. So you saw a bit of a problem for the Type 61 there, and that is gun elevation can be a bit of a problem for this vehicle at times. You only have 13 degrees of gun elevation, so sometimes when you're on a ridgeline you can actually struggle to look up, and you saw me lose a bit of the elevation there to try and actually shoot the Ho-Ri, which, yeah, a bit awkward. The S51 gets spotted by me. We go for the shot into the S51, and this is starting to get to frustration town because we've missed that shot on the Moistion's cheek there with the heat rounds. We've missed the shot on the S51. But the Moisture was poor aim, and the S51 was just bad timing. But we put ourselves in the position where we can get the shot into the S51 and put ourselves up to 4.1k damage. And again, I'm starting to think, you know what, I'm pretty sure I'm going up, but I need 0.12. So I really want to hit that 4.5k mark if I can to try and secure that third mark. Because I really want to finish off this Type 61, and they can have, I think I've thrown up a lot of the tier 9 mediums, and it'd be nice to add this one to the list. So I'm going to go around the building here and try and get around the left-hand side of this medium tank. We also know there's another medium tank and TD in here somewhere, and there's the SU-100M1, there's the T-54, and we're just going to risk it. We've got full health. We may as well risk it for a biscuit, take hits to dish out damage. So hello, Mr. SU-100M1. You can shoot me if you let me shoot you. So we put ourselves up to 4.5k damage. Another shot's going to go into this guy. There we go, putting ourselves up to 4.8k damage. Only one tank left on the enemy team. It's Mr. T-54, and he gets shut down by the Progetto 66. So we finished the game with a pretty decent total there for the Type 61 with the victory. The 2 kills, 4.8k damage. The high caliber, the Confederate, the third mark of excellence, and it actually put us up to 95.13 there, with the 1422 base XP for the second class. Fairly decent game for the Type 61, which managed to achieve us that third mark of excellence for the tank. So yeah, that's the Type 61. Like I say, it's not the best tier 9 tank in the universe, but it's also not terrible. It's just one of those tanks that could do with a little bit of love here and there, like extra ammo. It could really do with extra ammo, but hey-ho. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!